Good morning, everyone. Today is Tuesday, January 19th, 2021, and I'd like to welcome all of our faculty and staff, our students, our families, and the larger Sandusky community back to the next phase of our reentry plan for the school district. Needless to say, I'd like to express my appreciation to all of our faculty and staff members and our families and students for your patience, your flexibility, and your continued commitment to our school district. Obviously, we've gone back and forth a few different times, all in the best interest of safety for our students and families and our faculty. And we believe now we're prepared to begin the final phase of our reentry plan throughout the end of the current academic school year in June of 2021. I'd like to also thank every single employee of the district. We've been introduced to the term essential worker a bit during the pandemic, and I've come to the conclusion that every single employee associated with, working with, or for the Sandusky City Schools are indeed essential employees. You are essential to any success that we want to have as a district, and certainly essential to any success that we want to have as a school community. So on behalf of our school board, our president, Mrs. Murray, our vice president, Mr. Patterson, and all of our board members, we deeply appreciate each of you and thank you for your continued diligence in this thing we call education. I'd like to take a few moments as we begin this next phase of our reentry just to remind you of our protocols, our procedures, and talk a little bit about some of our goals for 2021. And then get us on our way to the next phase of our school year. As we return to school today, I want to remind everyone that we've begun our final phase of the options of either in-person or virtual, and by most data points it appears that about 80% of our students have determined to want to be in person, about 20% have determined to stay virtual. And students will have that option throughout the third quarter, and then at the fourth quarter they'll have an opportunity to make yet another decision. But keep in mind, once we're back today, going forward, we will not have any more reentry discussions. We're going to remain in school through the end of the current academic year, through June 3rd of 2021. And that does mean we'll be making decisions on an individual basis, on a by school basis, on by classroom basis, and by individual basis. Our goal will be to keep our schools open as certainly best we can, given our safety precautions and other matters. So again, we don't plan to revisit this issue again for the current academic year, and we're hopeful that when we go into the summer and into the fall of 21-22, that we'll be able to have as much of a regular school year as we are accustomed to. I also want to suggest for our faculty and staff that from January through March, we're still going to be recommending that you utilize virtual and technology as a primary method for communication and meetings. So from January through March, we're going to ask you to lean towards sort of a 60-40 split, with the emphasis being on more of the virtual and more the technology driven. And then once we get to April and May and June, we're going to ask you to begin to shift towards more of in-person and more personal engagement as we get to the close of the year. Our building principals will have the discretion and authority to make those decisions based upon what's in the best interest of the individual building. And we certainly understand that and give them the full authority to do that. Our goal is to remain in school and to make sure we're doing our very best to keep people as safe as possible. A couple of reminders to our faculty and staff. If you don't feel well, please stay home. Please consult your medical advocate, your physician, and get advice. Right now, it looks like about 85% of our faculty and staff have decided to secure the vaccine. I encourage it. I think it's important for our own individual safety and certainly for the safety of our schools and the faculty and staff and students that we serve. We will continue to wear our mask. So the mask rule is still in effect through the end of the current academic year. We'll review our protocols for masks in the summer and make a determination of what it might look like for the fall of 2021. We encourage you to continue to exercise social distancing, 6 feet of separation throughout the remainder of the school year where we can, so that we can do our very best to avoid any COVID-related challenges. Wash your hands regularly throughout the day, and then we're encouraging you to utilize good health habits as well. And this goes for all of our extracurricular as well as our traditional classroom environments as well. A couple of comments about some of our goals for the year. We'll be having a virtual forum later this month, January the 26th. We'll have some other venues by which we will be sharing out our vision for 2021. Obviously, there's a lot of things on the table for this year. One of the things you'll see is a heavy re-emphasis on our academic and instructional work in the district. Obviously, we've been doing most of our work around COVID and those kind of measures. We will immediately begin to shift back to our academic priorities, which will center around the academic 5K, our Sandusky's academic transformation strategies, and embedding our core 8 academic priorities. We will also talk a bit this early spring about our 2030 vision, which is the district's 10-year strategic plan, and you'll hear about the integration of the 2030 vision with our traditional transformation plan. And then finally, we are excited about the completion of our 3rd new elementary building. The Sandusky Early Learning Academy will be located on the current Hancock site, and as of right now, it looks like we're on schedule to open that building about a year from now in January, February of 2022, and that's going to lead to some exciting work for all of our kids and our faculty in that particular area. Finally, this morning, let me say to you again, thank you for your continued work. We absolutely appreciate everything that you do. And I would encourage all of us to just be reminded of a few things. Let's show compassion for our fellow employee, for our fellow co-worker, for our students and families. You never really know what that person is experiencing. So let's show some compassion. Let's demonstrate concern for our fellow person, fellow man, our fellow woman, and ultimately let's continue to work together. Sandusky is known for their pride, their tradition, and their excellence, and we encourage that as we enter the 2021 phase of this school year. Thanks for all you do, and as always, go Streaks.